Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pagey here once again, and this is going to be my first video covering Arrow Season 6. So I don't think I really have to go into much detail on how good the finale for Arrow Season 5 was, and how it really delivered on all fronts and really answered anything and everything that basically needed to be answered. Apart from maybe some stuff to do with Vigilante, but the producers and showrunners and stuff have already said that Vigilante would be more focused on in Season 6, just so they would be able to give the time needed to that storyline instead of trying to rush it and, trying to cram it or squeeze it into some part of the back half of Season 5. But obviously right at the end of the Season 5 finale for Arrow, we saw quite the big brain explosion, I guess you could say, take place when we saw Adrian Chase mess with Oliver on multiple levels, which finished in Adrian committing suicide by the means of shooting himself in the head. But a bit earlier on in the episode, we learned that like a series of C4 explosives had been placed all over the island of Lian. The entire island was ready to blow. But along with this, we also learned that they were set to a dead man switch, like they were all networked and like connected to Adrian. So as soon as Adrian were to die, kaboom goes Lian, and that is exactly what happens with us only knowing of two characters who have survived the explosion for sure, who are obviously Oliver and his son William, as they were not on the island, they were on that boat with Adrian. But what about the other characters of like Diggle, Thea, Deathstroke, and etc.? Well, we are going to go over their fates in the remainder of this video. Now, as I have mentioned in my Flash videos of recent, if you do have any questions or stuff like that about Arrow Season 6, so stuff from Season 5 going into Season 6, or just some other stuff about Season 6, like who the villain could be, and different questions like that, please leave them in the comment section down below, because it does help me in regards to making content and videos for you guys, and obviously you guys are getting involved. And if someone comes up with like a really original video idea, I will go, hey, this dude gave me the idea for this video and stuff like that. So yeah, be sure to leave that stuff in the comment section down below. And as always, if you do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So the last we hear of all the characters that were stuck on Lian is that they were told to head to an Argus supply ship by Oliver. However, the big issue surrounding this is that the supply ship was on the complete opposite side of the island to which our group of characters were placed on at the time. Now, realistically, there is no way the group would have been able to get to that ship in time before we saw Adrian Chase shoot himself in the head on the boat, obviously activating the dead man switch to all those C4 explosives and, Lian lighting up. So how the hell could anyone have survived the events which we were left on a cliffhanger with leading into next season, apart from like the Flash running across the water all the way to Lian and getting them to the Argus supply ship, because that wouldn't have happened. So how the hell would they have survived? Now, the only real option that the group on the island would have had in regards to safety from the blasts from all the C4 would have been the Argus bunker that held both Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, and Captain Boomerang that we saw earlier on in the episode. The Argus bunker is almost like built like a bomb shelter of sorts, and does look like it would easily be able to keep whoever is within the bunker safe from the explosions that would have been going on the above ground of Lian. Now, the bunker that held Deathstroke and Boomerang before Oliver arrived back on Lian is the most likely option to keep these characters safe, but will all of the characters get to this safe haven to protect themselves from the C4 explosions? And I think the answer to that would have to be a no. There is no way that they would have like such a big moment like that go down as a cliffhanger, and then for us to return and everyone is just fine and no one has died. It would sort of be a cop-out, if you know what I mean. So I guess the big question now is, who the hell survived and who the hell died? Well, it's sort of easy to tick off the survivors for next season, as producers and such have already confirmed certain characters as returning for next season. These three characters that we know are definitely returning, who, could have been in like a cloudy area if this like news wasn't announced. Dinah Drake, she's coming back. Renee/Wild Dog, he's coming back. As well as someone who wasn't with the main group but must get to safety somehow and survive leading into next season, and that is Black Siren. Other characters who I'm pretty certain will live on past, this finale and into Season 6 are Diggle and Felicity. I'm just putting them two together, as the writers and producers seem to protect these two characters with their lives, like their own lives. So I really couldn't see Diggle or Felicity being killed off. If it happened, it'd be very, very shocking, but just me predicting, I'd be very, very shocked if one of these people died. And the last character who I think is guaranteed to be safe come the beginning of Season 6 is Thea. And that's actually funny, because going into these last episodes, I thought Thea could be like a character that either died or just left the show. but now it just seems that she will definitely survive and be a part of Season 6. And this solely comes down to Malcolm Merlyn's sacrifice. It was a pretty big part of the episode, like firstly with the actual sacrifice of Malcolm himself, and then the follow-on from that with Thea having to deal with it throughout the rest of the episode. If they just made it that Thea died, then it sort of makes that sacrifice and that whole moment and all that thing that Thea had to go through throughout the episode sort of meaningless and just sort of pointless, so I really don't think they would kill Thea off in this moment. Now, the other characters who are still yet to be discussed in regards to their fate are Curtis, Quentin Lance, Nyssa Al Ghul, Slade Wilson's or Deathstroke, and William's mother, Samantha. Honestly, it is sort of hard to go over these characters and point out who will live and who will die, but one person out of that shortlist I just read out who could possibly meet their end is actually Samantha, William's mother. William now knows that his father Oliver is the Green Arrow, which is a secret that Oliver was going to keep from him until he was older. You remember he made that video message last season and William was going to get it when he was it 18 that William would have got access to that video message? So Oliver was going to keep it from him until he was, technically an adult to sort of like keep him out of this life that Oliver lives. So if the showrunners had any plans to do anything with William at all, then I think this would be the correct time to kick it off. With Samantha's death, we would see Oliver have to take the responsibility of having a child in his, not so regular life. I'm not 100% sure if I would want to see this play out, just because he also has to deal with his life as a mayor as well. So if there's this son thing as well in the storyline, it could get really, a bit messy. But you got to remember there is no flashbacks next season for the most part, like consistent flashbacks every episode. So they do have time to fill in, which they really haven't had to do on a large scale before. Sometimes they have an episode which is 100% in the present day, but that's one episode every 10. It's pretty rare that there's an episode that doesn't have flashbacks. So now every episode basically of next season is going to be that 1 in 10 episode where there isn't flashbacks. So they have a lot of time to fill. But if it did play out, I think they would have to recast the actor who plays William, as I just don't think he could pull off the role. The actor doesn't seem too into it, if you know what I mean. But then again, we didn't really get too much of him when it came to speaking parts of the episode whenever he was on screen. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh there. But yeah, I don't know if he's necessarily the best actor. So they could recast the role, or they just might not have William in there at all. Who knows what they'll do. But thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. As I said, let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think is going to die, and do you think that someone that I said would survive is going to die? Do you think Samantha might die as well? Create a Williams storyline in season 6 with Oliver having to take a responsibility for his child, because he hasn't really had to take too much responsibility in regards to actually just being a parent. He's gone and saved William a couple of times as the Green Arrow, but as an actual parent, he hasn't really been there for William too much. So it actually could work out in a sort of interesting storyline next season if they do go down that road. But yeah, let me know what you think of all of that stuff in the comment section down below, as well as any other questions and topics you want me to discuss from Season 5 going into Season 6, or stuff solely about Season 6, like villains, new characters we could meet, returning characters that could show up, anything like that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.